very rarely is it always just straight down, but there's also the realities.
No, for sure. I mean, there's certain points you get to a certain level of the game and the game smacks you in the face. That's the hard part to even understand. Like, there's been
prepares you for it.
Oh, there's been games in college where, like, it's funny. I heard something the other day. I don't remember who was saying it, but they were just talking about like how wildly arrogant you are, like 18 to 21, especially like if you're an athlete.
Oh, for sure.
You're just like, you're the best one in the world, and then like you run into one time where like an average team beats the shit out of you, and you're just suicidal. Yep. You're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so bad. I know.
I never forget the quiet bus ride back, and you're sitting there, and the coach is just like sitting there, just like staring.
I remember
like watching, or even worse, they're like, it's not even the ones that like light you up on the bus, but just like you just know in that undertone, they're like there, just stirring, waiting until that like post game meeting, like
100%. I remember playing a team in college and getting like 2 innings, 14 hits, like just they hit everything, and then I found out months later in summer ball that they had our coach's signs. And so, like, I thought it was me the whole time. I thought it was me, and I'm going like, what is going on? They're hitting everything, like, and they're not even like taking anything. Like everything that I threw, they were on
first pitch cutter,
pre-cutter, first pitch, anything that I threw, smack. I was like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? And it's like, there's things like that you don't even know what's going on. You find out later that's like, oh yeah, your coach had a stupid sign system. Every time he touched his ear, he threw a fastball. And you're like, oh,
it's the beautiful game.
Sick. I wasn't even aware of that system. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. The beautiful game of baseball kind of coming full circle there. And the hindsight's always 20/20, and taking the bumps in the road is kind of like a moment and then pushing past. And people always say you could try and flesh those moments quickly down, but it's
tough.
It's not that
very hard to deal with it.
Especially when it's like the biggest thing in your life at that age, right? Like that is the one thing you've been working on for the whole point. So, it's not the World Series, but it is the World Series, because like every new level that you get to is kind of the World Series, and the nerves that go along with that are always my favorite. I remember the most nervous I'd ever been in professional baseball was my second outing in the Liga Pacifico, and I jogged in from left field in Culiacan, and they flashed the lights on me, and I got dizzy, and it looks like I'm drunk as I'm like jogging in from the outfield because I don't know where the ground is, and it's going like flash, 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 like a strobe light in the stadium with like 70,000 people, and I'm like zigzagging to the mound, and then I get to the mound, and the mound is vibrating, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I completely forgot I was doing out here. Oh, I have a glove on. I'm a pitcher, right? Yeah. So, and of course, like the first pitch, I was ball bounced it, and then after that, I was fine. It was just back to work. But like coming in with the music and all of the anxiety that comes into it, like it is.
It's rough. It is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's the moments to live for, though, right? When you're sitting there and you're like warming up in the bullpen as a pitcher, you're like sitting on the on deck circle, like getting ready to go, and like getting yourself in that mindset as a whole other ability. Like you just said, like snapping yourself back into that moment is something that like it's really hard to cue in and teach people. And there's almost these kind of like not unlearnables, but like some given things that people are instantly able to like tune back in if they have that focus or ability or athletic edge to be able to like flip that switch and get in that moment too.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so important about our system. Like, just it's a perfect segue into live at bats. It's sparring. If you can get nervous in sparring, you're gonna take a poop on the mound in a real game, and especially in playoffs, it's gonna be even worse. You're gonna puke and throw up. Like that's just what's gonna happen. Like, that's how the nerves are gonna go. But like that's the whole point behind like desensitizing the game in a sparring session of live at bats. Like that's what makes you better. It's like, oh, okay, if I just do what I did 15 feet over on the other side when I was in my bullpen, and when I get over here on this side, it should be the same. And even with some of our best college guys, it's still that process to their brain doesn't like, oh, wait, I'm supposed to do the same thing?
Yeah, because the meaning behind the game comes into play because all of a sudden stats are involved and the future of like my career, if I don't perform, pressure starts to come down on
100%, right.